Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Talk. Just had some reflection today on the treadmill, and I wanted to talk about the advancements in technology and how crypto is not just changing from the traditional perspective as we see it currently, but how the NFTs are the next big technological advancement moving forward. And I've laid out a bunch of sectors here on this quick run through. To kind of run through how and why and the use cases and where it's going and how it's not just a piece of art or a JPEG that's been serialized one-off or 10,000 of them and not just a moneymaker. So yes, I have OpenSea pulled up, which is what everyone thinks of when they think of an NFT. They think of Beeple's artwork, they think of Bored Ape Yacht Club, they think of these really high dollar, hard to find assets that are where people got really lucky and randomly collectible and they made millions of dollars doing it. Another example would be a piece of artwork that's been fractionalized into 1,000 pieces because the average person can't afford a $30 or $40 million painting, but they can afford a fractional representation of that. And if one person owns all of the NFTs related to the artwork, it gets turned into that individual in the physical form. So moving forward, I'm going to run down a list of about 10 different topics of why NFTs are so important as a technological advance moving forward. So artwork I just talked about. Gaming is next. You're going to be able to run through the whole gaming sector. Just like you would buy, sell, and trade things with cryptocurrency and or fiat, and you can do so here in terms of NFT collectibles that could be rare as well. I pulled this one up because I do own their stuff, so I'm kind of shamelessly plugging myself in some way, shape, or form. But one of the first to do pretty much ETH payouts. So this is one of those pay-for-play games where you can play it and earn ETH while you're doing it. I love their co-founders. They've had some of the best graphics for the past 4 years. I think this originally started in 2020. They had a great DAO system already here, but the graphics are awesome. So this is probably not the best example, but gaming is so huge. I had to bring this up. I'm not a gamer myself in terms of myself in my 40s. I'm more or less focused on the technological side of things. I really don't have time for gaming with 2 companies and 3 kids and nonstop running around. But this is something I wanted to touch on. Music. You've got stuff like Gala Games really pushing that, but also it's more or less the royalty rights for the actual musicians themselves, and they can tokenize their own NFTs. They can sell tickets this way in the future. When in the future, you're going to go to an NFL football game, a Major League Baseball game, a European soccer game, those are all going to be, they're basically going to be an NFT on your phone. They're not going to be a digital ticket as you see at the moment. They're going to be individually sent to you. This reduces counterfeiting. It's a one-off serialized NFT for that sale. It's trackable on the blockchain. It's impossible to steal or replicate. So I think you're going to start seeing these third parties like Ticketmaster either get pushed out or have to adapt to someone like Bricken, or someone else will have to adapt to that setting. Or Taylor Swift or whoever the heck your favorite pop singer is at the moment. My kids like that stuff, but basically you're going to have to buy an NFT in the future. Obviously the big one, and my time in May back in Washington, D.C., the blockchain conference I attended there, the blockchain summit. This was a huge one talked about by the city commissioner of Baltimore City. They're doing land deeds now in NFTs. It removes the ability to steal land deeds, lose them in a fire or flood. It really reduces the issue of theft and or damage due to a natural disaster. The example they gave was that New York City during the 2018 hurricane flood that they lost like 300 years of documentation for certain sectors of the city. This removes that aspect. So you've got cities like Baltimore that are trend setting and moving land deeds for their city residents and their commercial buildings onto NFTs. It's easily stored on the blockchain. You can't lose it. You can't steal it. It's one-off representation, and it's easy to find out what's available to sell, buy, or transfer on the blockchain. Now, identity, your actual ID in the future, just like your car, your house, your land, will all be a digital representation of yourself. It'll be an NFT. So just like I have pulled up here for Palu, which is I myself do use and a couple of people do as well. You can get an ID based on this. It's also an NFT. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with this. I had to switch pages because my actual ID was up here. But this is something that is huge and moving forward. It's reducing the government's cost of actually printing plastic IDs. In the future, you're going to have the ability to pull it up on your phone because that's pretty much everything's going to be on your phone, whether you like it or not. You're going to have almost in a way CBDCs becoming like a funky version of an NFT as well, but that's a different topic for a different day. And that's not exactly the correct statement, but it's an interesting conundrum we're going into. I think we'll be in a cashless society in the next 30 years. I hope not. I like cash. There's reasons for it, but it's slowly going away. So IDs are another big one. And then powering fashion is another one. I am not a big fashion person, but there is a huge metaverse thing that started with Mark Zuckerberg and a couple of the metaverse guys in the late 2021 range, where you can literally shop online through the metaverse with these Oculus goggles and things of that nature. Your NFT representational purchase, you can literally take that NFT to the store, Louis Vuitton, turn it in person, and actually receive the physical item you purchased online. So where this is going, I don't know. I'm not that much of a foreseer, but something worth talking about. Chili's is, in my opinion, the biggest example of turning an NFT into a digital revolution for sports. They're doing it huge for soccer and a bunch of different soccer teams, European soccer, or as Europeans call it, it's football. Us Americans call it soccer. But they've done a great job with tokenizing literally everything. So not just the ticket sales, but like the actual one-off. You could buy Messi NFTs. They've done a huge ecosystem build on this. So kudos to them. They've done a really, really good job. So sporting is huge. I've pulled up blockchain bets. Betting is massive now, along with the gaming aspect. They're going to intertwine each other together. And then the NFT aspects in terms of registration, your identity again, it's all going to get looped into one. Go in that direction. And then you got land, obviously land deeds, property rights. That's all going to be on the blockchain here in the future. So that's another thing that I just talked about earlier, but I just wanted to have a visual representation of this from somebody else's Medium article. So shout out to Bitco Fun. He or she wrote this back in May of this year, but they're not wrong. This is where governments are going, both local and international companies. So it's something to keep an eye on. VeChain is doing the B2B infrastructure aspect in terms of tracking, products. Whether it's made in China, it's going from van to van or train to train, airplane to van to train. It's all trackable via their software. And NFTs play a huge part of that, and especially the technology aspect of things. So companies like VeChain and Amazon will be using that technology. And then I found this interesting. The last category I kind of found was kind of fundraising. So you have nonprofit organizations kind of fundraising a potential, so kind of adding a fun factor, right? So let's say you have a $10 million fundraiser for, hungry children in Chicago. Well, you can fractionalize it into dollar increments. And then from there, you can get an NFT showing that you are one of those 10 million people that gave money to the poor, starving children in Chicago City. It's an interesting idea. It kind of adds more of a fun factor to it. Kind of gives them a sense of pride. Now, that may not mean much, but it's also proof that you gave your money. So if the IRS comes around for U.S. folks in terms of tax time and said, hey, I need proof that you gave this money to this charity organization, just like your bank statement, you have an NFT representation that money was paid. It's trackable on the blockchain. It's permanent. It's immutable. And And it's another neat way that I think blockchain, cryptocurrency, and NFTs, especially the technology, is just going to continue to leak themselves into our lives. So that's my quick little pitch on NFTs and how I think the technology is kind of overshadowed and not looked at very much, but I think it's a huge sector to pay attention to outside of the artwork aspect. Nothing I say is financial advice. Best of luck. You want to find me, head over to Crypto Blackwall on Twitter, the Blackwall Discord, and if you need some private coaching, head over to Patreon. Thanks.